Good day and welcome to this first segment of A Week at the Plot. It's Saturday afternoon and it's absolutely lovely out there. The sunshine is lovely, but there is quite a strong breeze. And what I've been doing just now is laying out our seed potatoes, our Colleen seed potatoes. So I just leveled off that bed and have laid them out there. What are they, about 18 inches apart, something like that. And all I do is dig a hole with a trowel, maybe 10 inches to a foot deep, and then I place the seed potato right at the base of that hole. Now you may remember that when we prepared this bed, we put cardboard down. So we gave it a good weed, and then we put cardboard down, and then we put a layer of compost on top of the cardboard. So this year I'm actually going to be planting through the cardboard when I plant these seed potatoes down. Traditionally, we would be sowing our early potatoes on St. Patrick's Day, which is the 17th of March. But we were in Wales, so we've had a few days in Wales, which was absolutely fantastic. And we did actually give ourselves some downtime in Wales. In fact, there wasn't a great amount of things for us to film while we were there, or not for A Week at the Plot, if you see what I mean. Last time we went, we had the wonderful sheep galloping across the road and being herded and all of that. But this year, in our walks, yeah, there wasn't really a great amount of horticultural interest, let's say. But I did grab a babbling brook whilst I was there on a lovely walk that we did 2 or 3 times, and we've done several times before. So I'm going to put that at the end of this segment of A Week at the Plot, because it's lovely and quiet and glorious. Unlike the planes that are going over on a very regular basis at the moment. I'm just looking behind the camera because I can see 3 ladybirds inside the shed. I'll have to make sure that I do get them outside, or put them outside before I go. So our seed potatoes, these are Colleen, as I said before, and we these have been chitting. There is, you know, do you chit or don't you chit? You know, it's really up to you. When I have chitted and when I haven't chitted, I haven't really noticed any particular difference in the harvests. I haven't done it scientifically. I haven't even done it as a highly scientific experiment. But there are a few things like that that I would like to do, and we've been talking quite a lot recently about moving again and where we may move to, and I think hopefully we'll have the space to do some sort of more scientific experiments in the same year of growing one thing one way and the same thing a different way. So we'll see how that goes. But look, I've already started waffling. So these are the Colleen seed potatoes that we chitted. You can see, if I come in there, is it going to focus? No. I'm using my main phone that I use for calls and emails and web browsing and that type of thing. I don't normally use it for filming unless I'm out and about and I see something and I just want to grab it. And I don't know how to focus in. So I'm just going to show you these here. This is Colleen seed potato, as I've said, and you can see that it's chitted quite well around here, particularly in this area here, and then some more around and about. What I'm going to do is the ones at the side, I'm rubbing those off, and I'm just leaving that main chit in there. And yeah, that's absolutely fine. So that's what I have done to all the ones that I've already laid out. I've left a spot for this one to go at the end of the bed, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to start planting them. A little interruption then. So yeah, I'm going to place this in position, and then let's have a look at me just planting one of these as deep as I can through the cardboard. So here's the cardboard. Going right down, and then just filling in. One down, rest to do. That is our Colleen early potatoes planted, and I've top dressed with chicken manure pellets and given everything a good water, mainly actually to start breaking down the chicken manure pellets rather than to get moisture down to the seed potatoes, because certainly where we have planted them, I think it's about 8 to 10 inches down, 10 inches down let's say, the compost down there is really nice and moist. It is a raised bed. The compost is most probably about 30 centimeters, 36 centimeters deep. No, 30 centimeters deep, I reckon. And yeah, the compost below the cardboard is just really nice and moist. So I'm doing it to break down the chicken manure pellets faster, to just give a general nutrient and fertilizer boost to the whole bed. And I think we're going to leave it there for today. Quite a short one. Some of you will absolutely love that, I'm sure. And I will see you again tomorrow. What we're going to be doing tomorrow, I'm not sure. Maybe, well, I think we'll be having a look at some of the seeds that we sowed last week and see if they've germinated yet. Bye. Good day. Might not be a lovely sight, but it is for me. This is the chicken manure pellets that we watered yesterday beginning to break down. So as you remember, we sowed or planted rather the seed potatoes down, and then after covering them up again, scattered chicken manure pellets and watered them. And these chicken manure pellets have started swelling and breaking down, which is obviously what we want for nutrients to go down into the compost and feed the potatoes. So that's great. Oh, just getting up, hoping to sort out those Brussels sprouts in that bed this week. Any remaining there will either be eaten or frozen, and then we'll break up the stalks and put them into compost. And then this brassica bed also needs sorting. The brassica in the middle is the one that I want to save seed from. It's a cross between a Portuguese cabbage and a Nero di Toscana. So I'm going to have to find some type of fine bag, like a muslin bag, to fit over the flower heads to let that flower, because I don't want it to cross with anything else. Not that they often do, but they can do. And talking about seeds, let's have a look at the seeds that I sowed a few weeks ago. Quite a lot of work to do. I'm trying not to get into, where do I go? I go over here. I'm not in the shadow or casting a shadow. On the left, a Portuguese cabbage. You can see they're starting to get their true leaves now. They'll need potting on this week. And on the right here are the Brussels sprouts. You see there at the front, and then Dazzling blue kale at the back. I may have to do another sowing of Brussels sprouts because the germination there, actually I think the germination has been pretty good. I think I didn't have very many seeds left and the seeds were old. I do have some others, some fresh seed of Groninger Brussels sprouts, and I think I'll sow a few of those, oh sorry, at the back, sort of here. But yeah, Dazzling blue kale, oh sorry, Dazzling blue kale at the back, and Groninger Brussels sprouts at the front, and Portuguese cabbage over there. And I'll try not to be so noisy as I carry on. Let's pop into the poly. Oh yay! So at the back is various sunflowers, which is the national flower of Ukraine. Clearly they have begun germinating. I think there was 2 in each cell. And then at the front here is chamomile, and you might be able to just see some flecks of germination in there. Really tiny seed. And as we know from my sowings last week, the national flower of Russia. So the 2 of those, national flower of Ukraine and national flower of Russia, growing side by side. Fingers crossed for how they do, and as we've said, for all they represent. I think what I'm going to do today is remove this tunnel. I don't think it's necessary anymore. We are going to get colder weather, but I think I'd rather have the sun directly on these and have colder weather. I think they are the marvel of 4 seasons, so should be fine in doing that. Right, I'm just going to get on and do that now. Well, hopefully you can see that these have grown really well. I mean, particularly that one down here at the back. But actually, all of them have got harvestable leaves. I'm going to have to tidy up this bed and give it a weed. And obviously it needs a trim, like I've said. But you know what? I'm really pleased with the overwintering of these lettuce. Because now we've got lettuce for the next couple of months at least. Excellent, excellent. I am very happy about those lettuce, and it's great to know, as I say, that we've got lettuce as long as they're not pecked by birds for the next couple of months. So terrific, and fingers crossed they're not pecked by birds. They got plenty of other things to peck, of course. What I am going to be sowing today is more lettuce. So I'm going to be doing a red salad bowl and a green salad bowl. These are from CK Horticultural. I've had them for quite a few years. It says sow by year ending 2020. They have been in the fridge since I bought them, so I'm hoping that they are actually going to germinate 2 years later in 2022. We'll see. We'll know within a fortnight whether they're going to work or not. But with those salad now ready for picking and lasting a good couple of months, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a good time now to sow a successional crop so that when they start coming to an end, we have other plants that are already growing in the ground and hopefully will be ready to harvest. I can't remember exactly when those went into the ground, but I think it was around November time, maybe October, November. But if I can find the date, I'll put it down below. But they have just overwintered throughout the winter. Obviously, that's what overwintering is. And they've been covered up with that fleece. I've uncovered the fleece twice in that time and given them a water, because we have had, in my opinion, a drier and milder winter than other times. So I wanted to make sure that they did have some moisture, and certainly that seems to have done the trick well, because they're looking grand. I will tidy them up over the next couple of days, maybe even this afternoon. But yeah, get on and sow some more lettuce seeds so that I have a successional crop, so that we have further food after those finish. I did do a video about sowing lettuce last year, so I'll link into that now. Something else that I'm sowing today, Oregon sugar pod, which are Mangetout, golden sweet Mangetout, and the train driver mountain range. I've decided that I'm going to do the 3 end beds that we put in last year, and I'm going to do one variety in each of those end beds. So let me just show you where I'm going to be putting them. These are the 3 beds that they're going to go into. I think we'll do the train driver here, the Oregon sugar pod here, and the golden sweet down here. No particular reason in doing that, but if I say that, then I know what's going where, and I can put the jars or the packets next to each of the beds. What I'm going to do first is just give it give each bed a general weed. I can see here there's a bit of green, but just give everything a little bit of weed, and I'm just going to top dress with some of the soil improver that we have over here. So I'm going to get on and do that first, and then I'll be back to you. Job done. Train driver mountain range, Oregon sugar pod, golden sweet. And all I did is I roughed up the soil, or I gave it a good forking through and weeding. I then added some soil improver, i.e. compost. And then with my trowel, I just made a shallow drill about maybe a couple of inches deep, and roughed up the bottom of the drill to make sure that it was nice and loose. Then I sowed a row here, and in a separate drill I sowed another row down here. So I will be effectively giving it support all around the edges and down the middle. Same here, same here. I will actually link to another video that I think I did last year about sowing peas and Mangetout. I think I did it differently last year. I think I actually made the holes and popped each seed into a hole. So I made a hole with my finger and popped each seed in. So I'm doing it slightly differently this year. Well, completely differently this year. For no other reason than I wanted to do it in drills this year. So I will obviously be marking on my growing calendar the fact that I sowed these 3 sets of Mangetout today, and also the 2 types of lettuce. Yeah, it is such a glorious day. There's somebody using their mower, so I can hear that in the background. The brassicas, as you can see here, are beginning to go to seed, and I'm leaving this one in as well. It is a bit of a trip hazard, but I just need to be careful. And there are other things that I need to do. I may take this one out this week because there's going to be more traipsing up and down here. In fact, what I am going to do now, and I scheduled to do this anyway, it's not just because I've sown these seeds today, is I'm going to turn the water on for the whole of the site. It looks as though we've got no sub-zero days or nights coming up, which is great. And even if we dip did dip down to -1 or -2 on 1 or 2 nights, our plastic pipes are buried nice and deep, so they won't be too affected by that. So yeah, I'm going to turn the water on, then I'm going to give these a water. Obviously these are seeds which need to reconstitute, so they need plenty of water so that they can reconstitute, so that they can start germinating and putting down their roots. So whenever you sow beans or peas or Mangetout, always give them a really good watering, because they need a lot of water at this stage. Not deluge, but I'm going to most probably put 10 litres on each of these beds, and I'll put another 10 litres on in maybe 2 or 3 days. So that is it for this week's A Week at the Plot. I have uncovered the lettuce, really pleased with how those have overwintered. I know I've gone into it, but I'm so pleased with them, I really am. I've given the lettuce seeds a really good water when I've sown those, so that's great. I'm pleased with, you know what, even though I've only had 2 days and in total maybe 4 hours down at the plot this week, I'm really pleased with the jobs that I have got done. And hopefully next week there'll be more jobs to do, including, I really do hope, strimming. As long as we don't get any heavy dews or rain, then I reckon I'll be strimming in the next couple of days. Fingers crossed. Though there are other jobs to do as well, and I do want to get rid of the frame that we took down that separates the 2 halves of the plot. I want to dismantle that frame next week and get in a post behind the thornless blackberry so that we can start training that, because if we don't do it now, it's going to start, the wood will start hardening to start growing and obviously flowering and setting fruit. So I really want to get that done as soon as possible, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. And there's somebody just arriving that I want to speak to, so I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I hope you have a good growing week. I'll see you on Planet Vegetaria if you're on there, or I'll see you on YouTube when I upload another week of A Week at the Plot next week, because now we're at the end of this week, and if you've got this far, you've watched it. Okay, see you very soon. Those planes are still quite noisy. I'll leave you with a babbling brook. Bye.